the first to know Nsem-Pii TV.
In fact, now the trending issue, to say, almost all media houses, both traditional and digital, in fact, Edi Hunkomo has to do with anamontuo Ghana man penyini ede ebeto dwa say Chief Justice, her ladyship, Gertrude Araba Isaba Tokonu. In fact, onfa ni jumedi as Chief Justice, onfa ontwe ensensen ho your friend say she's been suspended. Na Justice Bafo Boni in taking over as acting Chief Justice. Ni nyina no petition bia nipa miensa bi ede kodan the president seeking for the removal of the Chief Justice. Now, reasons for the petitioners here na nsem Chief Justice ede perfect response ekoma Ghana man penyini with evidence telling Ghana man penyini say and some petitioners ne kan no in fact it doesn't stand the test of time. Discussions na koye bebrebe obia ekire na dwen. Ene day and the Ghana Bar Association made up of over 7,000 lawyers. And so the krata beto dwa no so ekire ma dwen edifa sa Chief Justice suspension no anamuntu ho. Ya Ghana Bar Association making reference to certain articles in the Constitution. Ekire said the rule of law should be allowed to work. Now omo SIT kra say odo ni kire mo Supreme Court. There's been some two cases. Ni nyina no directed towards the procedure with which the government is seeking to remove the Chief Justice from office. According to Ghana Bar Association. Na wasenka dipa binyanto boase ema in fact Supreme Court and some kaya no kra no yehunu say the siko ansana this unfortunate statement of suspending the Chief Justice Abba, but enya abanesa. Na Ghana for do na ebusa say where are the women lawyers? Ya maame mo, ya nua maamo, ya omo asua mra, e de mra ya adwuma no. Di asem na omo ka, e de afa we hu because her leadership oba. Now interestingly, Anko Free Ghana, the International Federation of Women in the legal career. Ye frɛ omo the International Federation of Women Lawyers. Omo ede communicate about betodwa. Now we are the International Federation of Women Lawyers. It is a non-governmental organization of women lawyers that was founded in Paris, in France, in 1928. Now, the objective of this organization is to fight for the eradication of all forms of discrimination against women and to promote human rights. Now, this organization is made up of over 18,000 women lawyers across 79 countries in Europe, America, Asia, and Africa. The headquarters is in France, Paris. And they are leader for the International Federation of Women Lawyers, the Chief Justice of France. Now they have collaborations with United Nations, FAO, International Labour Organization, UNESCO, UNICEF, and other important world organizations. It's a very big organization. Now, on the Kratano EBC Federation branch, ewa Ghana, and FIDA, Federation of Women Lawyers, omo branch, ewa Ghana, and penifoi ede Kratano EBC one so. Na Kratano damanim, me pese yabekin kind. The International Federation of Women Lawyers press release regarding suspension of sitting Chief Justice in Ghana. Date Thursday the 24th of October 2025. And it reads, the International Federation of Women Lawyers expresses its profound concern over the recent suspension of the Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana. This action has far-reaching implications for the independence of the judiciary, the protection of constitutional governance, and the ongoing commitment for gender parity in national leadership. A Chief Justice is not only the head of the judiciary, but also a symbol of the integrity, impartiality, and independence that defines the rule of law in any democratic dispensation. The suspension of a sitting Chief Justice, Mrs. Gertrude Araba Esaba Saki Tukonu, particularly one of the few women to have held this position in Ghana's history, raises serious constitutional, institutional, and societal concerns. Such an act, if devoid of transparency, due process, and public accountability, undermines public trust in the very institutions meant to uphold justice. The International Federation of Women Lawyers, as a staunch advocate for the rule of law and the protection of vulnerable people, especially women, advises the government of Ghana that the rights of the Chief Justice be respected and upheld at all times, and her office be treated with the dignity that it deserves. The Federation finds disconcerting the increasing spate of removal of individuals from strategic constitutional and institutional leadership, especially when such persons are women, regrettable across the world. These removals have become the norm whenever there is a change in government from the leadership of one party to another. And this is on the high rise, especially in sub-Saharan Africa. These actions serve only to weaken public and constitutional institutions and may potentially discourage competent and qualified individuals, particularly women, from accepting appointment to serve their nation in those institutions. The International Federation of Women Lawyers can boast of over 18,000 lawyers spread across the globe, with some serving in high positions such as being Chief Justices in Ghana, the Cameroon, Niger, France, Armenia, and the likes. The development of what has happened in Ghana must be viewed within the broader context of the constitutional and legal gaps that leave high-ranking positions vulnerable to political interference. The current legal framework must have adequate safeguards to ensure the security of tenure and independence of the heads of such institutions, including the judiciary. Governments have the right to remove individuals where the need arises. However, the need to do so must be on clearly discernible and stated grounds in accordance with various government constitutions, and not for partisan considerations or expediency. Finally, in Ghana, we know that the provisions of the Affirmative Action, that is Gender Equity Act 2024 Act 1121, states, and I quote, to ensure a minimum of 30% representation of women in decision-making spaces remains woefully unfulfilled and falls short of the stated goals of the Affirmative Action Law. This flies in the face of the promises in the current government, in quote, NDC's government resetting Ghana manifesto. The Federation is therefore urging government to ensure that it keeps to its promise to the women of Ghana. The International Federation of Women of Women Lawyers. Ghana, therefore, 1. Calls for transparency regarding the process and urgent resolution of the matters before the committee to enable the Chief Justice to resume her constitutional duties to the judiciary and Ghana. 2. Recommends for urgent constitutional and legal reforms to provide stronger protections for office holders, especially heads of independent constitutional bodies, to prevent arbitrary dismissals. 3. Reiterate the call for implementation of provisions of Affirmative Action and Gender Equity Act 2024 Act 1121 to provide 30% of females in leadership positions as a matter of national priority and justice. Finally, the Federation urges all government across the globe and all political, private, and social actors to recommit to advancing women's leadership and strengthening the independence of institutions in Ghana. Signed, Her Ladyship Constance Francois Ola, or Chief Justice of France, or no NSI Chairman, International Federation of Women Lawyers Worldwide, and assigned Bion Suzanne Ayiti, Acting Executive Director, International Federation of Women Lawyers, Ghana branch. And to way a strong communique from Yenyano ma Yama Memo, a lawyer for ya a shamoma, na omuni moma, ya almost edge on my dream. The current happenings in this country with regards to the judiciary that has led to the suspension of Ghana's Chief Justice, Her Ladyship Justice Gertrude Tukonu, ya Nadia, ya acting Chief Justice Bafo Bonny. Yeah, just say a lot of institutions, a lot of learned lawyers and judges here and there, actually on my dream at the Afam. Now it was a fufu.
Sa sem na ejina so no se ensuo ni yemfa ntu dwa no bi on se se kan lawyer brinye kan ko betimi a chief sa cases we dey there bi but up to no obi anim na the head of judiciary so nkofie obi anim ensem a ewo mu afi ya sa so ama pampani tumi se ono anyi nipa ope se munkodi nasem na mudi nasem na de mo be bra mi bia no me de be ye adwuma ne ye ka dom level asem ye ka composition of the committee asem we nyina ye ne ma bia mgiri se constitutional review for man ko amana somra na me ne senior lawyer ohene amanko agyan eni enkomon fa ho lawyer. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm pacho upom ye de
what they adom or that saying.
Lawyer, Chief Justice mi baye ni kai ne wudi ho enkomo e ma wo ka se wo de be ha wo pa ne se enkoba se mampani be ka se de adro into yen suspend the Chief Justice and one so den rabemu article 146 clause 10 che say the president may che say opa obeka so onto aso nya na dwuma e bra ehwemu mampani a suspend no e no the committee 5 member committee esi wo so mo hwe na mo nka asem no ohunu say
Yo, me da sienti Ghana de sha wajibre eti Kesben Sabri. Sanya emre bi yedi nkomo ameka no. Ohun se ye wonde ma nyina eho kwan nanso so no eba democracy ne ma ye hihye se ya. Ewom se president no constitution no ema ne sa tumi ne de. But ohun se meka ye se ebe yiye a enkamemma president emma nkrofo enye no say onto sa na mo no because e be a very dangerous president ena obesete e dey ato na wo hwe de asie ya e yade a e ha adwen pa ye se woyam enhyew e won ne ma e kro iso de a na Ghana democracy no e bia ne da atie no ompese e be ye yie because omo de adwen pa ana say nimdie ehhehye constitution no enwene de to ho no Imagine ye me say na almost shame Biribindia SC because we had the first president our pam and I say we chief justice if you Osaje for Dr. Kwame Nkrumah after the Kolongugu bomb incident na that's akokosa extra case no so omon panel ya say a group for mobile manim na omonye guilty no president no constitution no
hello lawyer
Emma president Nkrumah ejina sa tumi no so ekoyi chief justice na akokosa sabre no efri ho oyi no free ho wie no the very asem na omo transfer omo finding Nkrumah no guilty no ye no free ho no ye ko fight chief justice for by no. These people were tried and they were convicted and
rules the nation.
Yeah, constitution we na ye say to me 1960 constitution na president na otumi pam chief justice free one enka ye nwini na ye man nye den say enkoba say president betumi de tumi apam chief justice free one mom ebekwa akofa sa ensenie ti say na ye de eye council of state abesiwe now only omo ye constitution no am steady ye me what problem with any kwanya ye first why you compose the council of state because they say no we council of state you know at some point here ye dey buy na ye defeating because nipa na ye issue omo edi omo ko no president no e wo influence e wo appointment no pa
sure
and the bad regional abanso so ayeto na say yakoye no partisan enti no akoba say wuntumi nkonya NPP ni wakutu NDC president for enti was obia yeto aba amanu bi okoye NDC ni the council of state no so no eba be appendage of the president and nonti na ama say ye hu ni aye hu because enke ba no say chief justice e wo ho na wa ye bibia yesusu say ne bibia na odie no egu ne hu fi ana ontumi endia bibia nsi ho kwan say enka ebe famra kwan so na ye yi na firi na situation a ye wom say ya me emam ye nhihye ye say president Mahama ansa na obedi president na wadi kan aserve notice and I wadi kan dia to say under the NDC reset agenda no chief justice our see no on fit for purpose and I say on to me emma NDC and reset the judiciary for me that statement president Mahama Okoshia NDC professional lawyers no voter regional this accept no to dwa no e ma bia ye hye ye to abama no obedi president so wasan ya kasa asem na bi enuti na me last time me no kasa na me kasa nkebe ya on ye da wan ko tusa na mo ya sisi ya iwatu because na e afeme asema a wadi kan ya kan dia to ho say chief justice we no any fit for purpose enti kwambia so no e wo say yesesa no ansa watimi a reset the judiciary asem na a free president Mahama anoba ye ne yade a e ma bia ye nhihye because they say chief justice me sane na wo kan yes prima facie case as to at the codia basis for the establishment of the prima facie case against no me no say him me one o obi ti say sambi jamfia o ti radio so a o kika enema petition no ewo mu a anka o constitution no say ya o say hearing no crampo should be in camera no tell say it should be idea was ye wokokoam and you know so that obi enhu asamimpo a ekoso e wo saa baby a omo be ka asam no now that sambi jamfia ba bontia o kika nema o chief justice aye ntie was ye yi no free no why na ekoyi ano say we nchiremu amaame no e dia bandi enti no asam na say di kan ya kan wi because they say I was suspending we say a cosem na say committee no ka say only pa na o ye de what ma say ejinu me ni asie ni kire say chinchini a che committee no kra ehwehwemu a o ye no kra no minim de be kwa wi an say ya na wo say yi no free because I won't you know free I didn't na was suspending no suspended na ma the senior most na be acting. Now to same way na say the only power kofana baba kana say why den. For me that is the danger. Say sabre we yami show e won the aye koswa. But don't say no. Resetting agenda of the NDC na kweso bibia ye ka say ye be yi na free obia o see yi na free. They say Chief Justice and Ankas will be the petition against the Electoral Commissioner Equa or establish a prima facie case. And to the only Chief Justice in Florema, Quenya now more pussy you move into me your moon flu. Now say in the Ebe Ghana, your democracy no dear, and the number they and no saying the Bekwa Kofi. And the media Kofi, they are echo swing Mammy and she pass. Nancy ya ba fourth republic ya nka yetimi nkakra asisa bedru baby ayi bedru kwan ya ye fa so aye se ye reset Ghana no say ya say ya ebekwa ba be ha yem pa
Baba lawyer onyini say the constitution ye no ene dia ba bedru baby edu say ye amanyo semi judges omuntimi nkojina baby nye protest kasakra omonka bi radio so baby a say ye politician say MP, minister, president, the cheetah for to boy by now can the echo so on cran and yagro. Now, so as a judiciary, Obia and Comasim be momo, or more so mabon team can be it yedi obia no say also na yenina no asembia no say be a cool craba now ye two parliament to go ye suspend the constitution. The judiciary is our only hope. But almost why only hope no as a protection be anywhere a war bomb mobile. Who no say?
eno na make sense who say your constitution no enka hwe dia asisi mbre bia atwam enti no ka ye koyenim no ya hwehwe no such a way say because wontumi so nkofa constitution bi emma say Chief Justice bi bana or ye ndie mampo a emfata chinchina ya wo se otena ho